What's up, everybody? It's Old Man Winter 8 for Sun and Ski Sports, and we're going to find out if the K2 Excavator is a wise buy for you. So the Excavator was an instant classic as soon as it hit the K2 lineup a few years back. It is a directional board, as you can see. We've got a really big nose with a very long, drawn-out kick, and we've got that little bit shorter tail. But the crazy thing is that when you're going from contact point to contact point, the stance on it really isn't as directional as you would think. When you look at that kick in the nose and it being long and drawn out, that basically makes the board want to float like crazy and really get up on top of the snow instead of plowing through it. That just means when you're standing on flat snow, when you're talking about the part of the board that's actually touching the snow, it actually is a lot more centered up than you would expect. And then in addition to that long kick in the nose, this thing does have 20 millimeters of taper. So it is a much wider nose. You are getting a lot more volume, so this thing does want to float even better when you get it into the pow. And the Excavator does have a little bit more of a medium stiff flex, so it is something you can ride a little bit faster on. We are looking at a camber to rocker in the nose, so we get all that power where you need it in between your feet, but we're getting that extra catch-free feel and a little bit easier transition from edge to edge from that rocker in the nose before you get to the actual kick of the board. And then another good thing to note about this board is that it is a volume shift board. So it is built a little bit shorter, a little bit wider, and a little bit stiffer. So when you buy this thing, you're gonna wanna buy it 4 to 10 centimeters smaller than you would usually buy. For instance, this 158 is gonna fit riders who are usually riding a 162 to a 168. And then when we go inside of the board, we're looking at their S1 core, which is pretty rad. Instead of just having the wood going from tip to tail, when you get to the foot section, it has aspen and bamboo pieces that are going at a 30-degree angle out towards your edges. And why that's important is that when the wood is going on a little bit of an angle from your feet, it's helping to spread the pressure from your bindings out along the edge a little bit more, so it can dig a little bit better without having to add a lot of extra stuff inside the board. We're talking about that extra stuff inside the board. We're looking at a biaxial fiberglass, so it has a nice, easy, smooth feel in and out of turns, but still keeping the board sturdy. And then there are carbon stringers on this thing, but they're only going from tip to tail. They're not sending it across the board. They wanted to have a board that was easy and manageable, and it had the spring pop and that extra power to push back when you do get it on edge and you are riding a little bit faster, but they wanted to keep it torsionally a little bit softer so it had that nice easy feel in and out of your turns. When you do run that carbon straight from nose to tail, it's not affecting the board and how it twists at all. It's only affecting the board along the length of it. But that being said, they did also do their carbon fork, which is the 2 pieces of carbon in the tail that's helping to add a little bit of spring and power in just the tail of the board, especially when you go ahead and lean on a carve on this thing and you push and kind of unload off of your tail. This thing wants to shoot you in and out of your turns without it being uncontrollable. And then we flip over to the bottom of this thing, we are looking at their 4001 wax infused sintered base, so it's very fast and extra durable. But is the K2 Excavator a wise buy for you? Well, this is definitely for those intermediate to advanced riders who are looking for a very agile free ride board. Having that volume shift allows you to downsize, so the board is a little bit easier to maneuver, especially when you get it into the trees, but you're still getting the pushback and you're getting the stability and you're getting the feel of a board that is much bigger underneath your feet. That biax glass and those carbon stringers and a little bit in the tail there basically gives you the ultimate combination of a smooth, easy riding board that when you do load it up, it does want to push back a little bit more than a standard biax glass board. And another thing that's really cool about this board is that if you are a rider who maybe is a little bit heavier for your height and you don't want to have to ride a board that's a little bit longer than what you're comfortable with, you can buy a board that's a little bit closer to the size you should be riding in a normal board, but you're not going to have all that extra length to throw around when you're out on the hill. But if you got any questions beyond anything that we talked about in the video, definitely leave some comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the Sun and Ski YouTube channel, and make sure to head on into your local Sun and Ski so you can check out the K2 Excavator for yourself. And if you don't have one nearby, no problem. You can always look them up at sunandski.com.